Well, I hope you have plenty of sunblock on, Don.
Oh, I haven't seen any sun in 4 years.
Yeah, but billions of ultraviolet rays are bombarding us at this very moment. Don't blame me if you get a sunburn on your beak.
Oh, well then I need a beak block.
No, we don't want to block Beakman.
No, turn him on.
You're blocking my view.
Americans buy more than 2 billion pencils every year. Enough to stretch from here to the moon. Hey, let's get the lead out. I'm Beakman, and you've just broken into Beakman's world. Beakman! I'm starving for a question. Feed me. Oh, feed me.
Browning and serving! Okay. Mark Winter of Santa Fe, New Mexico writes, Dear Beakman, what's the deal on bread? And why is it called the Staff of Life?
A wry observation, Mark.
It could take us a whole week to answer a question like that.
Then let's stop loafing.
Condition red on bread. Stop loafing! Bread! The most widely eaten food in the world. It provides a larger share of our energy than any other food. That's why it's called the Staff of Life.
Per usual, I am totally under your scientific spell, Beakman called horse. But what is all that food doing on the table when it should be settling down and raising a family in my stomach?
What you see here represents the 3 different types of bread. Yeast bread, quick bread, and flat bread.
Well, yeast breads are eaten by most people in the United States, Canada, and many European countries.
White bread, whole wheat bread, and French bread, ooh la la, are examples of breads made with yeast. Yeast is a living substance that bakers put in the bread dough to make it rise. Bakers call it a leaven.
Muffins, cornbread, and biscuits are all examples of quick breads. These are made using baking powder as a leaven and don't take as long to rise as yeast breads.
And last,
But not yeast.
are flatbreads like matzah and tortillas. Flatbreads contain little or no leaven. Ray, preheat the bogoscope to 350 degrees, if you please. Prehistoric people made flatbread by mixing grain like wheat or barley with water and baking the whole shebang on heated rocks. Historians believe Egyptians began baking yeast breads over 4,600 years ago.
Wow! Cairo, home of the lean pastrami sandwich. You know, I was bred in old Kentucky, and I feel crummy about saying this, but where's the science? And of course,
Where's the love?
touche.
If it's science ye want, it's science ye shall have, Lester. Yeast is a fungus, a family of organisms that includes mushrooms, molds, and the little critters that give you athlete's foot. You're familiar with them, aren't you?
I am home to many and considered a fun guy by fungi.
Here's what you'll need to do this experiment at home. 1/4 cup of warm, not hot water in a large measuring cup. A packet of dry yeast and a pinch of sugar. And one adult to help you.
If you're going to do Beakman's experiments, do them precisely as he does, with the help of a grown-up. No substitutions. Oh, and above all, do them safely, yes. Now, we're gonna do this using about 4 times the ingredients because, well, that's the kind of knuckleheads we are. Put your sugar into the water and stir it up. Next, sprinkle on the yeast, but don't mix it. Now, leave it alone for 20 to 30 minutes and don't look at it.
Beakman, look.
Whoa! Our monstrous mixture has tripled in size.
What happened?
I have a question, too. What happened?
Remember, yeast is a living thing, and living things have to eat. When we got the yeast wet, we woke it up, and it started eating the sugar in the water. And when organisms eat, they give off waste products. This process is called
Fermentation.
When the yeast eats the sugar, it gives off 2 waste products, alcohol and carbon dioxide gas. The carbon dioxide gas is what makes the dough rise. As the bread bakes, the alcohol evaporates and the yeast becomes deceased. But the gas bubbles stay in the bread, giving it a light, airy texture. See all the bubbles in this piece of bread? Yeast made the carbon dioxide gas that put those bubbles there.
So, Mark Winter of Santa Fe,
On the subject of bread,
we've had our say.
bada bing!
Bada boom.
Bada baguette. Ooh, come on.
Speaking of eating, coming up next, it's time to play.
What's for lunch?
You may find it hard to swallow, but make sure you fly on back after this.
Beakman's World will be right back. And now, back to Beakman's World.
Power to the pod, people!
It's time to itemize your ideas. Here he is, the podiatrist of the poetic, the veterinarian of the venerable, the Wendy Jo Sperber of the feather and fur, the one, the only, the Beakman.
You crash 'em, I'll trash 'em. Let's bust up.
Nice hair! Quiet, please.
Question! Gail and Pat Gable of Salem, Oregon, right? Dear Beakman, tonight there was a beautiful full moon. A full moon is twice as bright as a half moon, right?
Yes, and I'm twice as bright on a full stomach.
Correct answer, a full moon is 9 times brighter than a half moon.
Ready?
Now that's family entertainment.
Question! Okay, I say that clothes hangers make noise. My brother says I'm crazy. What do you think?
Oh, no, you're just fine. A picture of stability. Of course your hangers are making noise. They're talking to your pants, and when they're done, they hang up. Wow, it takes all kinds, eh, Beak Mandolin Wind?
Actually, less stairway to heaven. When clothes make wire hangers sag, the hangers emit ultra-low frequency sounds. Deep moans and groans we can't hear.
Question. If Shoshana sells seashells by the seashore, then how many seashells does Shoshana...
Save that silly sentence, sister, because it's time to play.
What's for lunch?
There are foods we eat and foods that eat us. It's all part of the great food chain. And here to show you today's specials, your What's for Lunch host, Mr. Steve Shallow.
Hi there, everybody! Hi, Steve! Our first contestant is a housewife from Bowlegs, Oklahoma, whose hobbies are crocheting and collecting used dental floss. Say hello to Mrs. Florence Lawrence.
Oh, thank you, Steve.
Florence, ready to play our little game?
Oh, you betcha, Steve.
Then here's your first What's for Lunch question. Imagine you're a small carnivorous plant found on the coast of North and South Carolina, and you answer to the name Dionaea muscipula. What do you eat for lunch?
Well, Steve, I think I'd have to say pot roast and cream spinach.
Oh, you were so close.
Oh, no, wait. I didn't mean cream spinach. I meant curly fries.
Oh, I'm so sorry. If you had said curly flies, you would have been a winner because Dionaea muscipula is better known to its close personal friends as the Venus flytrap.
That's what I meant.
Sir.
Tell him how it's done, Abdul.
Well, Steve, the Venus flytrap attracts insects with its sweet nectar. Its blade-like leaves have sensitive hairs that can feel when an insect lands on them. So, as the insect sits down for its meal, the leaves clamp shut and the diner becomes the dinner. This meat-eating plant creates special fluids that digest the soft insides of the insect, leaving the outer shell of the insect to blow away. Back to you, Steve.
Well, Florence, you've been a lovely guest.
Oh, well, so have I, Steve.
And here is your parting gift. Tell her what she's won, Abdul.
Yes, it's a new comb made from the finest polystyrene. It comes with its own ranch mink carrying case. Retail value 39 cents. Case not included.
We'll see you next time on What's for Lunch?
Coming up next, it's Beat Blanket Bingo! We'll see if Lester can measure up after this.
Beakman's World will be right back. And now, back to Beakman's World.
My batteries are run down with curiosity. Charge him with a question, Phoebe.
Charging! Ooh! Ooh. Here's a high-voltage question from Andivi Monserno and Isaac Sandoval from Northridge, California. They write, Dear Beakman, why is a foot 12 inches? Yeah, why is a foot that long?
The only foot long I'm interested in is this kraut-encrusted beauty right here. So long, foot long.
Actually, it's very simple. The word inch comes from the Latin word uncia, meaning 1/12.
And an inch is 1/12 of a foot because there's 12 inches in a foot.
Okay, so there's 12 inches in a foot. But how did they figure out how long a foot is in the first place?
Great foot question, Lester. Give yourself a hand.
Thanks.
For the answer, we have to go back to bogoscopic times. Before people had rulers and yardsticks, they used their bodies to measure things. They'd measure distances in feet.
Since they couldn't walk up a horse, they'd measure how tall it was by using their hands. And today, we still say a horse is so many hands high.
There's only one problem with using your body to measure stuff. Phoebe, may I see your foot, please?
Okay.
Ooh. Okay, Lester, hand over your foot. Yikes. Now, Phoebe's adorable little Tootsie here is a dainty 8 inches. And Lester's magnum-sized gunboat here is at least 3 times that long.
My mom says I'll grow into him.
Anywho, if you measure the distance using Lester's foot, you'd get a much different number than if you measured that same distance using Phoebe's foot.
You'd also get a lot more laughs.
This was a major problem until early in the 14th century when King Edward II of England put his foot down. King Eddie made a law that every inch would be as long as this. 3 barley seeds placed end to end.
Why barley seeds? He could have picked 3 acorns. He could have picked 6 gumdrops.
He could have picked his nose.
Right, Lester? Then we'd have the expression, give him a booger and they'll take a mile.
You may think that's funny, but it's not.
Actually, Phoebe, you were right. It doesn't matter what the king picked to be an inch. What's important is that he picked something and everybody agreed on it. Yes, he gave us standardization.
Well, that means that people all over the world agree on what they mean by an inch, a gram, or a minute.
Well, I think all of us can agree on one more thing. This yawn-inspiring lecture of yours needs a cool demo if it's going to measure up to my high standards.
You know, you're right, Lester. You hear that music? We're sending you to a tropical island paradise.
Coney? Staten? Lawn?
No, Lassiter. Say aloha to Hawaii.
Oh! Aloha! This is Lester reporting live from wet, wild, and wacky Waikiki Beach.
Hi, Lester.
Ready to do some experimenting?
I sure am.
Focus, Lester.
All you have to do is measure the height of the palm tree using that yardstick.
I can't measure it, Beakman. I'm not tall enough.
Yes, you can, Lester. Here's what you do. You see the palm tree's shadow?
Yeah?
Measure that.
The shadow is 4 feet long.
Good. Now measure the yardstick's shadow.
Yardstick shadow 1 foot long.
Doo-dah, doo-dah, yardstick shadow 1 foot long. All the doo-dah day, all the doo-dah night, all the doo-dah day, all the...
Ben, what does the yardstick shadow have to do with the height of a palm tree?
Let's see what's on the animation channel. Okay, we know a yardstick is 3 feet long. And we just saw that its shadow at this moment is 1 foot long.
So, the yardstick is 3 times as long as its shadow.
I just found out the palm tree shadow measures 4 feet.
Just like the yardstick, the palm tree is 3 times as long as its shadow. So we multiply the length of its shadow, 4 feet, times 3, which gives us 12 feet.
So, the palm tree is 12 feet tall.
All the doo-dah day, all the doo-dah night, all the day. And we measured it with only a yardstick and a shadow. In fact, now that you know how, you can measure the height of anything that has a shadow.
Yeah, your house, or a tree, even your big brother.
Hey, so Aunt Davy and Isaac of Northridge, CA, to answer your question, we sent Lester away.
Oh, Lester! We left him on the beach.
Oh, there you are, Lester.
I may not be coming home anytime soon. Wave to Beakman and Phoebe, Pamela Sue.
Jerry Bender of Ontario, Canada wants to know, where does maple syrup come from? Beakman will be back on track with the short stacks of flapjacks, Jack. Oh, so sticky around.
Beakman's World will be back in a flash. And now, back to Beakman's World.
Where does real maple syrup come from? From the sugar maple tree. During spring thaw, maple syrup makers traditionally put pipes called taps into the trees to collect the colorless, watery stuff we call maple sap.
The sap is taken to a sugar house where it's boiled down to get rid of most of the water. What's left is pure maple syrup.
And mighty good eating.
See you next time.
On Beakman's World.
Well, Herb, once again, we learned a lot from Beakman.
We sure did, Don.
You know, the funny thing about learning, I mean, you'd think with all the stuff I learned, my head would fill up and I wouldn't be able to learn any more.
Yeah, lucky for you, your head is still empty.
Right. I'm one lucky bird.
Brain.
Yep.